Hey, what's up, friends? So let me just say, this game, Drag and Drive, absolutely blew me away. Imagine a legit wheelchair basketball game, but then throw in some Tony Hawk's Pro Skater vibes. You're launching yourself off a half pipe, chaining combos, and scoring points, all while controlling the action with two Joy-Cons in mouse mode. And the best part, the HD rumble is legit next level. It actually feels like you are operating a wheelchair, and I can't believe how well it actually works. Honestly, I walked away from this demo wanting to play more. I'd love to play some 3-on-3 wheelchair basketball. If you've got doubts about this game, trust me, you've got to give it a chance. It's that good. So today, I'm going to break down my first impressions of Drag and Drive, covering everything from the gameplay mechanics, graphics, sound, and more. I'm also going to dive into how this fits into Nintendo's legacy of quirky launch titles that are unexpected but often end up being awesome. So let's dive in and get started. Drag and Drive is a brand new title announced for the Switch 2, launching sometime in 2025. The game uses both. The HD Rumble 2 is really good. It feels like you're rolling the wheels. It's sick. Joy-Cons in mouse mode, which I have to say works surprisingly well. You're essentially playing wheelchair basketball, rolling around using motion controls, making shots, passes, pulling off tricks, and of course, trying to score. The way it controls is unlike anything I've seen or felt before. You'll roll by sliding both Joy-Cons forward, mimicking the push of your wheelchair. You can even get enough speed to launch yourself up sloped sides that look like half pipes for some awesome trick shots where you do score more points. And that's just scratching the surface, guys. The HD Rumble 2, it's truly immersive. It doesn't just vibrate, it feels like you're pushing yourself through different surfaces like grass, asphalt, and even when you slam into other players. It's that attention to detail that makes this game really stand out. Also, the ability to push forward on both wheels while making turns is not only realistic, but it also gives you a lot of control over your movements. And of course, you can even push harder on one wheel to start drifting or pulling off some tight spins. There's a lot of depth here. Alright, let's talk about the gameplay. At first, when I saw that this game used Joy-Cons in mouse mode, I was curious how Nintendo was going to implement this. But once I got started, I couldn't believe how natural it felt. We played on a desk with a mouse mat, but they even encouraged us to try using the Joy-Cons on our legs, and it worked just as well. And you'll see that actually here in the video. So whether you're using the mat or your jeans, the controls works on your legs, no problem, are responsive and intuitive. There's an impressive level of flexibility which really opens up the game to a wide variety of playstyles. I was skeptical at first, but it feels super fluid and makes the gameplay so much fun. The best part is the motion controls genuinely make you feel like you're in a wheelchair. The more I played, the more I appreciated how it simulates the real motion of pushing a wheelchair. It's not just about pushing the buttons, it's about using your body to roll, twist, and shoot. As someone who's been playing basketball since I was 3 years old, and most of you guys know I'm about to be 40, and I've had my fair share of basketball injuries, like my torn meniscus in both knees, and I absolutely shredded my Achilles tendon. They don't even call it a rupture, they call it a shred. I remember my surgeon, Dr. Wynn, said that my Achilles tendon looked like the Achilles tendon of a 50-year-old Olympic athlete, and that my tendon looks like a bolt of lightning struck a tree and the branches are going in all different directions, right? That's what my tendon looked like. My foot was literally disconnected from my leg. So obviously it was a really bad injury, and I was in a wheelchair. So I have experience with this. And the feeling of using the wheelchair motion just brought back a lot of memories. I actually spent about 6 weeks in a wheelchair as part of my recovery from the Achilles tendon surgery, so I know exactly what that kind of movement feels like. And I played wheelchair basketball too because I loved the game so much that I couldn't stay away. So I literally would play horse with my brother and my cousin in the driveway, and I was in the wheelchair. And I have mad respect for any athletes that play wheelchair basketball because it takes so much strength, guys. Like, you have no idea unless you've done it, right? It takes a lot of upper body strength. So when I heard about this game, I was like, man, this is probably going to be really cool because despite being injured, I was like, wheelchair basketball is really fun. I would totally do this. If I was in a wheelchair, hypothetically, for the rest of my life, I would want to still play basketball, and I would totally play wheelchair basketball. It was really fun. So being able to simulate it here, I thought was pretty amazing. And honestly, it's a bit therapeutic to get that motion down in a game. And the sensation is just so real. It's not just a game, it's also a workout. Imagine pulling off shots, making moves, and then feeling that sense of accomplishment as you rack up combo points. It feels like a true sport, a genuine, I guess you could say, physical challenge from the Double Dare days. Let's talk about the visuals. The game has a grungy street ball aesthetic, and I personally love it. I know a lot of people are not fans of the graphics based on what they've seen, but after playing it in person, I actually thought that it fit the game well. It reminds me of the Tony Hawk games with that underground vibe. The graphics I thought were solid, and to be honest, they look better in person than they do in the YouTube trailer or streams. There's a gritty yet polished feel to everything, from the urban courts to the character designs. I think it all clicks together. What really stood out to me, though, is how well the graphics capture the emotion of the gameplay. The way your wheelchair moves through the environment, how the lighting hits the wheels, it all ties together in a way that makes you feel like you're rolling through an actual street ball court. I'm not sure if it's the combination of lighting, the textures, or just the way the characters move, but there's a real fluidity to the visuals. You can see the details in the wheels, and you can also feel it. The dust kicking up as you move, and how everything looks under different lighting conditions. It's a mix of realism and street-inspired art that I think suits the vibe perfectly. Now let's talk about the sound real quick. The game's soundtrack is exactly what you'd expect from something with a gritty street ball vibe. It's got a high energy, kind of urban feel to it that makes you want to jump in and start hooping right away. The beats get you pumped, and the whole atmosphere is charged with that sense of competition. But it's not just the music, right? The sound effects are on point too. Every time your wheels hit the ground, you feel that tactical connection with the world, especially with that HD rumble too. The swoosh of the shot and the slam of your wheelchair against an opponent, it's all loud, clear, and impactful. And again, the HD rumble too makes the entire experience feel so much more immersive, from the initial push to the gritty crash when you collide with somebody else. Let's briefly discuss the concept. The idea of wheelchair basketball with trick shots and motion controls is incredibly unique. It feels fresh, but also really accessible. This isn't just about playing sports, it's about making it fun and approachable regardless of experience. The game invites you to get creative with your shots and movement, which adds a ton of replay value. There's actually a lot of strategy in this. What really drew me in, though, was the respect it pays to wheelchair basketball, as I mentioned earlier. It's a sport with deep meaning and a strong community, and this game seems to bring that culture to life in a fun, interactive way. It's more than just shooting hoops. It's about embracing a new way of competing, something that's both challenging and, I think, empowering. Now, let's step back for a moment and put Drag and Drive into the broader context of Nintendo's history with quirky launch titles. If we think back to the original Wii Sports, which came with the Wii, wasn't just a game, it was a cultural phenomenon, right? It demonstrated the power of motion controls and got millions of people, no matter the age, to play video games that hadn't before, including people who had never picked up a controller in their lives. Nintendo has always had this knack for surprising us with unconventional titles at launch. There's ARMS on the Switch, which brought us motion controls in a completely... Then there's ARMS on the Switch, which brought us motion controls in a completely different way. It might not have been as massive as other games, but it had a lot of charm and showed Nintendo's ability to always think outside the box. With Dragon Drive, it feels like they're doing it again, bringing something fresh, fun, and totally unexpected. It might not look like your average sports title, but that's exactly what makes it stand out. And just like with ARMS, it's these quirky, offbeat games that often turn into cult classics. They're experimental, bold, and set the stage for future innovation. Don't be surprised if Dragon Drive turns out to be one of those underdog hits, especially if it's priced right. Overall, I'm extremely excited about Dragon Drive. It's a fresh take on wheelchair basketball. I think it's probably the only take, right? And I had a blast playing it. It's fun, challenging, it's seriously immersive, and there's a lot of strategy to it. Don't sleep on this game. Give it a shot before you judge it, because it's honestly a ton of fun, and I can't wait to see how it develops before the full release. I'm really hoping that Nintendo prices this accordingly to where we can actually have a good-sized online community playing this game. You guys can expect a full review down the line once this game has released and the Switch 2 has come out, but for now, this first impression is all about how much fun I had playing. And this is one I'll definitely be keeping my eye on, and again, as long as it's priced right, I will be there on day one. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to check out all my other hands-on impressions from the Nintendo Switch 2 experience, including winning the Mario Kart Knockout Tournament, Metroid Prime 4, Donkey Kong Bonanza, and I got to play it twice, Zelda Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Hades 2, Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition, and more. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the exciting updates I've got coming your way. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and let's talk about Dragon Drive. And hey, if you're as pumped as I am about it, I'd love to hear your take. And if you think there are other quirky Nintendo titles that didn't get the attention they deserve, let me know in the comments section below. And as always, remember, you're never too old to play video games.
This is a game that a lot of people are like, I don't know, it's going to be worth full price. I don't know, there's a lot of fun. If there's enough players online, plus it's a good workout. That was really cool. All right. Let's find out what we're gonna do next. Yeah.